The first season of Darker Than Black was an interesting take on world building, with plenty of cryptic subtext in its world lore and existing factions, while presenting a unique power system that featured sociopathic mercenaries known as contractors. However, what really made the show stand out was the unique character arc of Hei, an anti-hero caught between two different worlds. In the world of contractors, Hei was known as a ruthless assassin whose notoriety gave him the moniker of the Black Reaper. Yet it's his human side that provided the most depth to his character, as viewers continually saw Hei contradict his callous persona with indirect compassion towards his comrades, while eventually learning that Hei was never a contractor to begin with. By the end of Season 1, Hei would find himself at a familiar yet uncomfortable crossroads of two worlds, as he was given the monumental decision that would transpire into the eventual deterioration of his psyche. Which is precisely where Season 2 picks up from, as we see a narrative that takes risks by presenting Hei at rock bottom, while desperately trying to retain any semblance of normalcy he once had in Season 1. Because of this new direction, the overall reception to Season 2 has been very divisive for fans, and has led to a nearly unanimous belief of Season 2 being the inferior product. But that brings up the question, was Season 2 really that bad? So, with that inquiry on the table, let's take a look at what went well and poorly in the second season of Darker Than Black. Season 2 follows Suo, a middle schooler who lives a relatively normal life with her twin brother and father on the east side of Russia. However, things quickly change for Suo when her friend randomly becomes a contractor, followed by her home being raided by multiple parties, one of which is a mysterious masked man in black. After coming face to face with her father's murderer, Suo makes it her job to expose the contractor, which naturally leads to confrontation between the two. However, in the ensuing chaos that follows, Suo finds a strange contractor protecting her from different pursuers, which subsequently leads to an unconventional partnership that sees Suo under the tutelage of Hei, as they make it their mission to find her missing twin brother, Shion. Those who enjoy Darker Than Black mostly for its established world lore will likely be disappointed with the world building of Season 2, as many of the established elements from Season 1 gets highly contradicted by the narrative of Season 2, with the monolithic organization known as a syndicate being reduced to a simple afterthought, and randomly having the animator for the Jetsons in charge of vehicle design. On top of these strange additions is the narrative of the show, which is nothing short of a convoluted mess, as it bombards you with a bloated prophecy, full of terms you feel like you should be familiar with, but really have no context to their meaning. Despite these grievances, the world building and aesthetic feel of Season 2 is not without its charms. Those who enjoyed the grounded character-focused narrative of Darker Than Black will likely find a nice consistency between the desolate and bleak environments featured in Season 2, as the most enjoyable moments come from the humanistic struggle that is Hei's self-loathing psyche, as he roleplays as a contractor despite being an illogical human, suppressing his emotions. And with the addition of Suo, the grounded character arcs people enjoyed most from Season 1 get further elaborated upon, as Suo and Hei experience characteristics ranging from a continuum of naivety all the way to apathy. The majority of the new characters from Season 2 are definitely a major downgrade from the previous season, as a plethora of differing factions are packed within the 12-episode season. This leads to a lot of supporting characters with non-existent development, while displaying very few memorable moments that make them quite forgettable. After watching Season 2 multiple times, the only supporting characters that actually had a lasting impact on me was this blatantly obvious pedophile, the two bitches from The Shining, and this girl with big tits who was likely animated by whoever was in charge of vehicle design. In spite of all those complaints, the overall characterization of the show still managed to be enjoyable, predominantly because the show was carried by the unique dynamic of Hei and Suo, with Hei's next chapter leading to a life of alcoholism, despair, and self-loathing, directly working in tandem with a naive but determined Suo. Because of these differences, Suo and Hei's relationship are at odds with each other, with Hei constantly abusing Suo for her insubordination, while Suo openly displays her loathing for Hei. However, as the duo continually butt heads throughout the show, we begin to see some common ground between the two, with Suo questioning her psyche in regards to being a newly awakened contractor, and Hei being a mentor to guide her down a path that would prevent her from following the same footsteps he took around her age. As the narrative progresses, we see a mutually beneficial partnership that leads to a lot of individual growth for the duo, with Hei slowly staving off his descent into madness and gradually returning to form, which nicely completes his character arc as a story of resilience and overcoming debilitating mental obstacles. while Suo, on the other hand, is a naive mercenary that questions her humanity in a fashion similar to how Hei once did, as she finds herself one foot in the world of humans and another foot in the world of contractors. Like its previous season, the animation of Darker Than Black Season 2 delivers a lot of interesting fights between contractors that are well choreographed with plenty of intense action sequences to raise the stakes of the narrative. On top of the action sequences, the art style doubles down on its bleak aesthetic by featuring a world in ruin, which makes the animation style feel more desolate in a way that nicely matches the psyche of our characters. And other than this goddamn car, I really enjoyed the new but familiar direction Season 2 took with the animation style. Fortunately, there's not a single bad thing I can say about the music of Season 2, and in most aspects, it follows a similar style of direction heard in Season 1, despite featuring different composers, with lots of slow and lyrical tracks made to embody the cold and languished personalities of the characters. However, the fast tracks played during action sequences are definitely a change of style from the melancholic grunge music of Season 1, with plenty of intense techno beats that really accentuate the mood during fights. Those who enjoyed the soundtrack of the previous season will likely enjoy the melancholic tunes of Season 2, while being pleasantly surprised by the addition of intense techno beats that will likely find a place in your collection of earworms. Upon first inspection, it's understandable why fans of the show might have been put off by the changes seen in the second season of Darker Than Black. With an abusive iteration of Hei, we see a beloved character that has hit rock bottom, as he behaves more and more like a curmudgeon towards his subordinates.
Good morning.
Sure.
However, this natural continuation of Hei's character arc presented even more depth to his relatability, and depicted him less as a contractor, and more as a human being that has lost everyone he has ever cared about. While some of the other story beats might be a bit convoluted to follow, Hei's desperation to return to any form of normalcy while staving off his own descent into madness manages to compensate for those faults in a coherent manner that emphasizes a humanistic story about resilience, despite everything that transpired. Those who enjoyed Darker Than Black for its bleak character development will likely find the dynamic of Hei and Suo enjoyable, and should give Season 2 a go. However, those expecting consistency between the world building and returning characters will probably find the experience less enjoyable, but at least the quality of the dreary animation style and melancholic soundtrack get carried over to Season 2. Regardless of how you eventually feel about Season 2, I think differing opinions of the show can unanimously agree that the flying car is an abomination that never should have happened. So, with that being said, Darker Than Black Season 2 is overall an 8 out of 10 in scenes without the car, and 2 out of 10 in scenes with the car. Seriously, fuck that flying car.